Welcome to Look Behind the Look, the new podcast that examines iconic looks in film, television, music, and fashion history. I'm your host, Tiffany Bartok. Hey everybody, welcome to our 30th episode. I have obviously slowed down a little bit over the summer. My family came together recently to celebrate the life of my grandmother who passed away at 99. So I've been spending a lot of time thinking about her lately, and I'm certain that I am not alone in having a grandmother who taught me a great deal about what would turn out to be my career. I had two grandmothers, obviously, and between the two of them, I learned everything I would need to know about self-care. Before she passed away, my grandma Marion made sure that she gave me her Estee Lauder compact that I had brought to her as a gift when I got my first job at Bloomingdale's. Her pink-tiled bathroom is where I spent hours practicing makeup on all of my cousins, and her vanity had two products at all times, and that was Neutrogena hand cream and Coty Airspun powder. Is this something that we all have in common? I'm sure. Remembering her this month has been bittersweet, but as we know, life goes on. And now it is my great pleasure to introduce the guests for this episode, Keith and Kate. Keith Barraclough is a renowned photographer whose great talent is finding the extraordinary parts of people's personality and presenting them in really unexpected ways. Keith has a visually distinct approach to portraiture, unlike any photographer I've worked with. I first met Keith doing makeup on the Redhead Project, and I watched how he could take what seemed like a simple portrait of a subject, and suddenly, after he works his magic, they are a gothic Marvel superhero contemplating good and evil on a rooftop overlooking Manhattan. Yeah. I watched as he took what seemed like a headshot of my husband, and all of a sudden, he looked like a concerned mayor of an inner city overrun with crime that should be on a bus or billboard advertising a new series, something like that. And today, we're going to talk about how he gets those qualities into the portraits that he creates. Keith and his partner Kate Lorenz started the Redhead Project several years ago. It's been featured on CNN and in Vanity Fair because of its unique vision. He has created portraits for over 500 redheads, and in this episode, you'll hear how it all started and how you can take part in it as well if you're so inclined and a redhead. This is a long one because we took a dive into many of the specific portrait sessions, but each one is so unique that it would be impossible to narrow it down to just a few. We tried. Enjoy the episode, and if you are a redhead or you know one, be sure to let them know about the Redhead Project. Be sure to watch this episode on YouTube because we're really going in depth to super specific pictures, and in order to fully enjoy the stories, you're going to want to see the images that go along with them. So go to youtube.com/lookbehindthelook. So I'm here with Keith and Kate, who spearheaded the Redheaded Project, and I have known Keith. It's like embarrassing how long we've known each other. Keith and Kate, when someone asks me on set how long we've known each other, I always say a couple years. And then I'm like, wait a minute, it's been like a decade. And then I instantly feel 100 years old. But, I feel so youthful around you guys that.
Oh, we do too. Well, it's funny because I was thinking, I can't remember when we met. I know it was at least a decade. At least.
Yeah, absolutely. And it was on a set for a corporate job. I feel like it was Voya. And, Keith is a accomplished, renowned, I don't want to label you as corporate photographer, but this is how I met you is in the corporate world, and, for huge, law firms and financial institutions, you take these pictures because you have this flair of capturing a personality in even a corporate setting that's just so unique and really individual. And I think that carries over into your commercial work. And then, this is sort of like your flair for capturing someone's personality is really otherworldly. I mean, there's nobody quite like you.
Thank you.
And then you said, I have a side project that I'm starting up, and I was like, yeah, email me about it. And then I came over and got to meet Kate, and you guys were starting what is now how many you just started taking pictures of redheads. Had to be
years ago.
It had to be a natural redhead. And you were just sort of documenting
Redheads. And now how many have you done?
504.
Oh my God.
And obviously over the last year, we haven't photographed. I think we photographed 2 in studio in the last year just because of the pandemic. And that's why we expanded the Redhead Project to go virtual. So now we're shooting virtually as well as in studio, which we'll get into that later. But
I've been seeing that, and those are really incredible. The virtual shoots do not look virtual at all. It looks like you're right there. And I think I saw Dancer on the Beach as the last one, and I'm like, how did this happen? So we'll find out about that more. Absolutely. But
we have that picture to show.
How did the project begin, and what was the genesis? Because you are not redheaded.
No, we didn't know any redheads when we started the project. And
so you just wanted to meet redheads. Let's be honest.
Wanted to meet redheads. He didn't know that, but fondly enough, it was on a corporate shoot. Since you brought up, corporate portraiture, there was a gentleman who came in to get his picture taken, and he had a presence about him, and I was just taken by him. I didn't see the hair. It was very short hair. Didn't recognize what color it was, but he was wearing a white shirt, an Oxford shirt against a light gray background, very, very pale skin. And he just stood very proud. And when he left, I got back, I turned to my assistant and I said, I would love to get that guy in the studio just to take some pictures of him. He was tall and lanky, put a nice suit with a thin Italian tie, kind of, or Italian suit with a tie, and it would look cool. So when I got to his images and I started processing all the images, got to his image, I kind of played around with it a little bit and showed it to art directors that I knew, some consultants, some friends who were in the art world, and everybody was taken by the picture, thinking, boy, you could use this picture for, it could be a fashion picture, it could be a corporate picture, it could be an editorial picture, it could be an advertising picture. So I thought, well, why don't I take a bunch of pictures like this and make a little portfolio out of it to show not necessarily personality, but people can be drawn into the photo wondering who this person is. Because he had just a plain, non-distinct look on his face. And he was a redhead, I noticed, after looking at the pictures. And I said, well, why don't we just make that consistent? The white shirt against the white background, and they're redheads. And I had just read an article from National Geographic saying that redheads were going to be extinct in 100 years.
That's right, I remember. Because
of the recessive genes and things like that, which I don't believe. But so I think it was in my head that, hey, we'll do this. So why don't we do something, and why don't we just call it the Redhead Project and see how many redheads we can get and just start taking pictures.
Until they go extinct.
Yeah, until they go extinct, exactly. For another 100 years, we'll be taking pictures. So that's how it was kind of born. And I kind of joke around that, if this guy was bald, this would be the Bald-Headed Project, instead of the
right. It was him.
Yeah, it was really that random. So there was really no preconceived, I love redheads and I want to take pictures of redheads, and redheads are quirkier or prettier or anything else other than other people. It was just happenstance. So
have you two found that there is a certain personality that goes with redheads, or is it just the same but redhead?
It's interesting. I'm asked that question more times than you think.
Oh, okay.
I would be asked. Good. It's not, and it's a good question. No, I don't think there's really any really big underlying difference. I think maybe they are a little bit more confident in who they are, in a sense, just because not every redhead has been teased. But if you were teased when you were a kid, you didn't like your red hair, but now they embrace it and now they really love it. So there's something that's really that they can look in the mirror and really say, I love my hair. And I don't know if a blonde could really do that, or a brunette in the same way. Maybe they can because they just love the sheen of it or something like that.
Well, I think it's because they're uniquely identifiable by that trait, whether they like it or not. So they've had to make peace with it.
Yeah.
Yes. And that label definitely
aspect, unlike other people who have brown hair or blonde hair.
Yeah.
Yes. It is a unique trait.
Yeah. I also think that the project allows, what I think people embrace about it is because we focus on the personality aspect of redheads in the portraiture. I think redheads embrace the opportunity to dispel potential assumptions about redheads
Mhm.
by showing their many sides.
Yeah.
And people have a lot of fun with that.
Yeah, they do.
Yes.
Yeah, they do.
Yes. So that is the key ingredient to this series, is that you have the picture in the white, sort of a blank slate canvas picture that still yet has a twinge of personality, which is
Mhm.
your secret. But then of course you go all out to the other side of the spectrum where you really nail their personality. And can you talk a little bit about that process of finding what props you're going to bring for these shoots? Like, what's the pitch to hi, I'm a redhead, Keith. I've heard about your series. I would like to do it. What questions do you ask them that helps them decide what they're going to bring to the shoot or how you're going to shoot it?
Kate has, Kate pretty much runs the project. So she's written up a big application. There's an application that people have to go through. And the reason why we have that is so we know, one, that they're serious about it. There's two questions that are really important. Why do you want to be part of the project? And what images that you've seen from the project do you like and resonate with you?
That's a good one.
And then we know from there, it's a good starting point because we know that, they want to be part of the project, not just because I have red hair and I love my red hair. I mean, it needs to be a little bit more than that because their personality is a little bit more than that.
But I would say that actually the project has evolved. That's all true in current day now that we're 8 years into this. But in the beginning, the project was simpler in an homage to the gentleman that we photographed in the beginning, right, Keith?
Yeah.
People just wore white, just like the inspiration for the project.
Mm-hmm.
And then slowly the project, we started incorporating props and showing personality even without props, just, smirks, smiles, hand gestures. And Keith perhaps can state this better, but you got a little tired of, you wanted to make it more than just about simpler.
Yeah, it was at the beginning. It was just wear white, nondescript look on the face. Maybe bring some other clothes that you have. And then after 10 redheads, I started getting bored with that. It started looking like the same thing over and over again. And at that point, people were sending me, other photographers and other friends were sending me, look what this guy's doing with redheads. And it was really nice pictures, but it was
competition for you.
Yeah, it was really nice pictures, but they would have against just a bright orange background or something like that, or Red Hot 100, I think was something out of the UK, I think it was called, and really, really good looking people and good looking guys, but it was all guys with red hair, but they had their shirts off. And I mean, who wouldn't want to look at that? I mean, it's that kind of thing. So, but you didn't really know who they were. So I was looking at our project and say, I look at the photo and I don't know who they are. Which is why with the first picture, when we show some of these pictures, the first picture, them wearing white. What I really want them it is an homage back to the original redhead that we photographed. But I also want them to look at that photo and wonder, who is this person? What's making this person tick?
Yeah.
And what's going on behind the eyes? Because I really want them to kind of think about their best moments, their worst moments, and things that, so they have that look in their eyes and you kind of capture that look and there's something going on there. So you don't really know whether they're ready to laugh or cry, is that kind of look. And so you're drawn in wondering who this person is. And then the rest of the photo shoot is now you're going to show everybody who you are. And that's what I wanted. That's where the project has kind of morphed into, where it was just showing them, just a really nice portrait of them. But now I wanted to do something where I want to know who you are. So show me who you are, which gets back into your original, your question a couple of minutes ago was, what do we get them to do? How do we kind of get them involved in the project? Go ahead.
Sorry, I just also wanted to add that this started so organically. I mean, this is strictly by word of mouth. We weren't even on social media for the project itself.
Yeah.
And so for the first 10 months, it was word of mouth strictly, and it grew very slowly, but we had a party, a Redhead Project launch party officially. It was July 31st of 2013 here at our loft. And I made red hors d'oeuvres and red drinks, and we invited the 10 redheads we'd photographed so far. And we invited anyone who had a redheaded friend to bring bring their friend along.
Yeah, we said bring your favorite redhead. Basically, it was the
And
tag.
we showed the images on Apple TV on the TV screen, so people could see, what we've taken so far. And that's how it grew. And finally, someone said, "You really ought to be on Instagram."
Yeah.
And so
we said, Insta what?
And so
who's going to manage that?
We finally got on Instagram, the Luddites that we are, and that's when it really took off. The popularity grew with, of course, more of a social media presence. So that's how we ended up finding people primarily through.
And they DM you and say, "I want to hear more."
Yeah. So we don't go. I don't walk around the city handing out my card and saying, "I'm a photographer. Come over to my studio. I would love to take your picture."
It's not the 90s. Oh, okay.
But it's not that kind of. I want them. They have to come to us because that shows that they're actually want to do it. It's not something. And when we show the pictures, we'll talk about how we get people to kind of do what they do.
Yes. So that's where we were. We traveled away from that. We were talking about how you get people to
Kate has written up an application process, and those two important questions that we have people answer. Why do you want to be part of the project, and what images do you like? It kind of sets the tone. But then they have to come up with 5 distinct ideas, categories, concepts that kind of show who they are. And they do that through clothes, through food that they like, hobbies that they have. It could even be stuff that they dislike. They really just really, really hate. Some people really, really hate ham, and they just don't like the silkiness of it and things like that. So we'll do some fun things with that. But it's their interest. If they're really into social media, let's see if we could do something with that. So they write up some ideas, and then we have a phone conversation with them. And the process could take 2 to 3 weeks of going back and forth. But we'll have a phone conversation with them, go through the ideas. We'll start collaborating, which is a huge part of this whole process. And the most fun for me is the phone conversation where we collaborate. Okay, your idea is ice cream. You love mint chocolate chip ice cream. Bring a big spoon with you, and then you can spoon it in, and we can show you how much you really love ice cream. And they started getting excited about this. And they know we get quirky. We like to take really nice pictures and portraits, but we also like getting quirky. It's the Redhead Project, so we're going to be dumping something on your head, or balancing something on your head, or how many pickles do you like? So how many pickles can you fit in your mouth? Those kind of things. So,
has anybody ever? What do you do when someone's like, "I have an idea, let's do something totally different. I don't want to be like all the rest." Do you just say, "Oh, I think I'm busy that day"?
Well, there is nothing that I will not do.
You make it
there are a lot of times where we'll throw out ideas at them and say, "Listen, we're just going to throw out a bunch of ideas and see what sticks." We don't make anybody do anything they don't want to do.
Also, he shoots tethered to the computer, so you can try something, and if it just doesn't work or you hate it, it gets deleted.
Right.
And we do want to do stuff that they normally do. Anyway, so for example, if I say, "Hey, could you put your hair up in a bun?" It says, "I never do that because I hate that look." Then we're not going to do that, even though I think it might look good. And we're not going to do that. Yes, we will pour ice cream all over your face. It's not something you normally would do, but it's with a fashion-y kind of thing, it has to be something that they would be happy with.
But I would also say we're not all looking for quirky and compelling images, but it doesn't have to be. It doesn't have to be messy or outlandish. But there's something about it that just stops you in your tracks.
Yeah.
Right.
Not everyone isn't subjected to dumping stuff.
That's the key.
Yeah. Sometimes they don't want to. Sometimes they come in and says, "Listen, I don't want to do this. I don't want to dump anything on my head." So that's fine.
We're always striving to get a different image than what we've gotten before.
Yes.
That's why that's why this application has evolved to become so involved, because we want to get people thinking differently. And that's also why we started asking people to think about collaboration possibilities, not just with us, but with friends they have that are creative and crafty, or family members, or young or small businesses that would love to have a nod to what they do and get credit for their work on behalf of the project. So we've steered ourselves in that direction, and it's become really rewarding. And especially now with the small businesses needing the shout out, I think it's a great direction.
Yeah, I'll give you a quick example.
I was just going to ask. Yeah,
we haven't done this yet, but a lot of the redheads seem to like pizza. A lot of people like pizza, but they also say, well, my favorite food's pizza. Because we always says, what's your go-to food? What do you really love to do? And do you love M&Ms? Do you love this? And says, well, I really love pizza. So we have to find out a way of what can we do differently that we have not done yet with pizza. We've had people eat it. We've had people balance, 6 pieces on their head. We've had them take the pizza boxes and make a shirt out of it. So next time I'll say, well, your mom likes sewing. Why don't you sew a bunch of pieces together and make a shirt out of it, or make a sash or something like that. And then on it you can write, "I love pizza," or something that is a real pizza shirt. Right. Something that would make Lady Gaga jealous.
Yes.
So, which is interesting, to your listeners, or the people who hopefully are watching this, because we're going to show some images.
Yeah.
It's all about the look, and hence the look behind the look, and it's how are we getting that specific look, and how are we making it different, and how are we getting people to show who they are, what their personality is through the props that they bring.
Exactly.
And it is. You can tell their personality because you can push them. You can keep pushing them to a point. And they're going to keep on doing more and more and more. Especially because we're shooting tethered to a computer, and they see the images and they go, "Oh my God, this is fun! I can do it better." And let's go back and do it again. And they're going to put more peanut butter on their face because they think that's going to be just so much more fun. And it doesn't make any difference what age, whether they're 6 years old or they're 60. They're still going to do some fun things, which I think is really fun to watch and fun to be around.
I also love the fact that we've been able to include, we get performers, dancers, and people that just have the performing bent attracted to participating. But what I love about this is it's an opportunity for people that have never been a part of a professional photo shoot to become part of one, and to help plan a shoot. And I think that's people that may come into this thinking, "Oh my gosh, what have I gotten myself into?" start to really warm up when they realize how much fun it is.
Yeah.
And
exactly.
And so it's I think that is equally as rewarding as working with someone who has endless creative ideas and is used to collaborating in this way.
Yeah. The most fun for me is when people leave here. And the shoots going to last 2 to 3 hours. So they're not here for 15, 20 minutes. They're here for a long time. And when they leave and the elevator door closes and I'm still in the hallway and I can hear them tell their friend, "That was a lot of fun. That was way more fun than I thought it was going to be."
You listen, you do the leave behind. Yes. Oh, that's wonderful.
I've even had people say, there was a lady in Florida who was, she worked for the local news, and she was an on-air personality. She would do, interviews on the street and things. And she goes, when I was driving over here, I was really, really nervous. I don't know why, but I'm in front of people all the time and talking, but I was really nervous about doing this. And I can see that. I mean, I can see, with me driving, if it was me driving here and going to a person's place that, one, they've never met because they've only met me over the phone.
Right.
Especially when we're traveling somewhere. If we're in New York, we'll meet with them face to face so they can see us, we can see them, and they know that we're, legit. And, Kate and I will both meet with them. But if it was me, if I was driving to see the photographer, I was going, why in the hell am I doing this? I really don't want to do this. And I'm going to stop and I'm going to turn around and go home because I really, really don't want to do this. So I can imagine that it can be very nerve-wracking because you're showing who you are.
Sure. But you have an ability, a very disarming quality. You don't, you make people feel so comfortable the second that they come in, and like everything's so much fun.
Yeah.
So I can completely
And I think starting with the white shirt, we start off with just the white on white. And I think that calms people down too. Of
course.
They get used to me having the camera in my hand, get used to the strobes going off. They used to the surroundings. We shoot in our loft, so it's a home setting. So it's not a big studio where, you know, people, and there's a lot of people around where people think that you know, it's comfortable for them.
Right. Well, let's talk about some of the looks here. I'm looking at Elena, right? And I'm going to bring all of the images up on the screen.
Okay.
And, you know, so it starts out in the white shirt, and then she has tell me the story behind the shoot with the caution tape. And I mean, she has so much personality in each photograph here.
She did 2 separate shoots. So the first shoot she did was the one where she's holding up the, I think the drill.
Yep.
And she has dirt all over her face. Yes. And the second shoot she did a year later, she did a part 2 where she incorporated her work. So she does a lot of embroidering, and I think she has a machine.
Her little embroidery business called the Little Black Dog Shop.
Okay.
And so
I love embroidery.
Job. She has another career, but.
So she made that that T-shirt that says, you know, be aware, I'm a redhead, or whatever it says. Yep. And this is where the collaboration comes in, is when we talked over the phone about how we can incorporate this. I was thinking, you know, do you have any caution tape? Because wouldn't that be kind of fun to say, you know, caution? She goes, I'll see if I can find some. So it's that collaboration process that is really, really kind of fun, where you can pull things in that you didn't really think about when you were writing it up. And also when we're at the shoot, we know the props that she's brought. We know basically what we're going to do with them, but we don't know exactly what we're going to do with them, and things
exactly how it's going to all come together.
You know, let's really tie it around and have it go onto it or something like that. We don't really talk about that during the phone call, but it's more of on set in which looking at the images, and she can say, I can do that better.
Nice.
So
nice. Does anybody ever get stumped and you're just like, what am I going to do?
We've had some people be very shy about the whole process.
Sure.
There's a lady, I don't know if you have it, there's Cristie. She's the one with the ice cream. She was very, very reserved when we talked to her over the phone. And I remember hanging up.
Yes,
saying,
I do. Okay.
Says, I don't know. I don't know if this is really going to work or not.
She looks pretty spirited in the picture, so I think you figured it out.
once you get it there, and she starts incorporating her own thing, and then she's the one with the ice cream with the big. I said, bring the biggest spoon you possibly can.
How did she have this spoon? Oh, I guess. Oh,
yeah, she went out and bought it. Yeah. She went out. She was they live in North Carolina, in small town North Carolina. So she said she found this huge spoon.
Hobby Lobby or something.
Do you have any big spoons? Yes. I love
ice cream. I love the big spoon. So, and that's one thing that's really kind of nice about this, is that people do take it seriously.
They do.
They do take it extremely seriously, which it really took us back when we first started this.
Who wouldn't want to have images like this? I mean,
yeah. And I think that what helps is that we have a big archive of images that people can go back and look at.
Refer to.
Okay, you know, this guy, he's serious. Kate does all the communication, so it isn't some weird male photographer trying to get me on people. Photographer, you know how that works.
I know that guy. Yeah.
So that helps out a lot. But we've had circumstances where we would go on road trips, and not just for the Redhead Project. We would try to tie in Redhead shoots if we're going to go to Dallas or Chicago or something like that with advertising or corporate shoots that I would have. If I was going to Dallas and they say, hey, I'm going to be there for Thursday for a shoot, why don't we try something Friday, Saturday, Sunday? We'll put out a casting call. And we'll say, hey, I'm going to be in Dallas, XY, you know, these dates. Are you any redheads out there in Dallas want to be part of the Redhead Project?
And you do that through social.
Yeah. Yes. And so we'll get, we've been to Savannah a couple times. We've gotten 200 responses back saying, I would love to do this.
Of course.
So, but when we did a road trip through Houston, Dallas, Atlanta.
That was in 2016.
Yeah, we did a big road trip, almost like a month-long road trip.
And
for work.
And Redhead Project. shoots.
And this was all done over the phone, all collaborating over the phone.
We actually
love it.
have 56 redheads
56
in Georgia and Texas.
Yeah, and everybody came through. I
And
think there's one person that really didn't come through very well. She said, "Yeah, I really wasn't in the mood, so I just brought scarves and a sign." But her daughter was there, and her daughter did really well. So, but 55 out of 56 redheads. I mean, they would come through. They would bring huge rates of and we were wondering.
The circus is in town. The circus is in town.
The funniest thing about that is we shot in a hotel suite, and so we scheduled these shoots at the time in close succession, like hour-and-a-half segments.
Yeah,
which is very precious. And so that meant that there would be hotel cartfuls of stuff going in and out.
Yeah,
and I don't know what the staff.
Yeah, they're probably thinking, "What the hell is going on with this in room 232? All these redheads are going up there. What the hell's going on in room 232?"
Oh my god!
Because it would be. We would schedule something at 9 o'clock, 9 to 10:30, say, or 9 to 11. The next redhead will come at 10:30, so they would always overlap each other.
Right.
Which makes for a very exhausting day.
Oh my god, I cannot even imagine.
It's like 8 shoots in a day.
Yeah, you have
8
shoots in a day. It's
and no
a lot of coffee.
Yeah.
Lot of coffee. Yes, Allison has this rainbow look going on, which is pretty fabulous. And then she has this amazing juxtaposition. It's almost like Carrie, and what is she holding here? A microphone.
Yeah,
she's a composer, playwright, and performer.
I mean, it's all in the photo.
And she loves Lady Gaga, and she had a bunch of Lady Gaga outfits, and we said let's try to incorporate that into the shoot. And she brought a hair and makeup person that she knows very, very well, one of her best friends.
Jesse.
And so
I know Jesse.
Yes, that's right. Yes, you know Jesse. Yes. And so he came up and he did all the makeup. So he did all of the little musical notes that's running down her face.
Yeah.
So we just did a lot of, bring a microphone, pretend like you're singing in the microphone, and just kind of have fun with it.
And now Beth is going through it. Like Beth has a lot of, this looks like, honestly, Beth's, if you put a time code to them, I feel like this is the morning with the laptop and the tech, all eating her alive. And then Instagram, that's her lunch break. And then this is 5 o'clock with the cigar.
It is a good point. She's great. I mean, she would call herself a character, and she is.
Love it.
But she's a film editor and
that's okay.
She works for, or used to work for, an editing company, and I think she does freelance stuff now, I believe.
Oh, that's fantastic.
Excuse me if I got that wrong, Beth. But so she's really into social media. So she had one of her, and this is where we get back to when you have a prop, if you can have someone make something that looks really good. So she had the prop department in where she used to work make that sign that looked like an Instagram. So she's inside. Right. She is the Instagram page.
Right.
And then with the editing, all the tape all over the place. And yes, it's old and you don't work with tape anymore, but just the tape wrapped around her and just the craziness of it.
Redheads rule. Oh, that's cool. And then this is her after work, obviously, when she has, she is celebrating.
She loves her whiskey and things like that. So
that's fantastic. I love how, this reminds me, the hair wrapping around. I love how you always use the hair as a scarf and an accessory. I don't know how it happens, but I remember a shoot with Emily Bennett where her hair was definitely, you have a real knack for manipulating the hair as a.
That's part accessory. Of the first part of the shoot we do. So when we have them, and it's kind of a warm up to the rest of the part of the shoot.
Sure.
When we have them wearing white, a nondescript look on your face, I want to know, show the viewer that you don't know whether you're laughing or crying, that kind of thing. Mm-hmm. And then I want them to show how much they embrace their hair and how much they really love it and how it's part of them. So it's them and just taking their hair, especially if it's long, and then wrapping it around, chewing on it or something like that. And then shake your hair back and forth, just violently shake it back and forth. And they really love those pictures. I think they
Of
like those
course.
pictures more than they like anything else, just because it's all about the hair and the way the hair kind of wraps around them.
And is part of them for sure.
And it's a good, like I said, it's a good warm up for the rest of the shoot, because now we're going to get into stuff. Show me who you are, and let's start getting a little crazy.
Right.
That started the craziness.
Now we've got Brittany, who is, Brittany likes NSYNC, that's my girl right there. Is that her childhood, or is that current? Is this hearkening back to nostalgia?
I think it's nostalgic.
Yeah.
Oh, I love that. We would have been friends, Brittany.
Yeah.
I love it. And then what's on her? Is that flowers on her or mangoes? That's flowers.
The flowers. Yeah.
I know. I'm like, listen, these glasses aren't very good. Okay.
Well,
This is why we have Redheads write up details about what they're bringing and provide backstory behind what they're bringing, because the viewer can't necessarily tell exactly what's going on.
Yeah.
When the images are small.
Yeah.
Right.
You make a good point. That's why we like to have the information, because we don't remember even after all these shoots.
Yeah.
We can't remember what all the little details are.
And one fun thing is that, the images on the screen are pretty small. When we enlarge them, they could be, if you can get very close to it, there are always little aspects of the image that makes you go back and look at it again. Where is that a mango, or what is that? And if you notice down below, there's a little tiny sign there. It says something, something sunshine, Little Miss Sunshine.
Mm-hmm.
So, read that, but you got to read that. And it says, oh my God, it says that. And so it's not just, there's little things here
every
and there
detail
that you have to kind of look at it again. It's like looking at any picture, any good movie or a song that you want to go back and see it again. Or when you've been interviewing makeup artists, that I've listened to your podcast before, and I want to go back and see the movie again, because now I can get more into it, because I know what the process was behind it, and I want to look at it again.
Yes, of course. I mean, Jason, I always describe your work as like a graphic novel, or an illustration. It's really, it lets everybody be free, because they sort of feel like an avatar. It's like this identity that they can just.
And they could really be anybody they want, I think it's really nice. It's really nice for people who are not used to being in front of the camera, but I think it could be even more special for the people who are used to being in front of the camera, because now it's not an advertising agency saying you got to wear this clothes, you got to have this look on you got to be doing this. It's you are free to do whatever you want to do. We know what props you're going to bring in, whatever your mood is, let's go for it. And we'll throw out things out there. Hey, let's see if we could do this. There's not a publicist standing behind me saying, no, you can't do that. Don't do that. Too crazy. Yeah. It's all about them and how crazy they really want to be.
And now Carlene looks to be very concerned about danger.
She's a science teacher, grade school science teacher.
Oh,
she's a science teacher in
Georgia.
So she came in with all these.
Is that a snake? Is that a snake?
Yeah,
that's a real snake.
Costume animals.
So, and she had her daughter and her friend. She had 3 people come in with her with the shoot.
She had an entourage.
She pulled out this snake. The girls were like, oh, get it away from me. She just had this thing on her head, and it was kind of hissing around. And I was just taking pictures as it was going. But she just loved it.
Oh, that's fantastic. Oh my gosh. And of course you had full warning that the snake was coming.
Yes.
Now, Deanna, talk about this. This had to have an entourage here for the Star Trek. Okay.
Yeah.
So
it did.
She came with, not kidding, 2 full of props.
Yeah.
Yes.
Photographed her in Savannah. And Star Trek look, the Klingon look, she applied her own makeup.
Oh, she did this herself.
Yeah,
yes.
That's a whole kit.
Fabulous.
Her husband is really into Star Trek.
Yeah, are they Trekkies?
But Trekkies before they met, and she really wasn't. But now he's pulled her into it, and now he told me, he says, actually she's more into it now than I am. But they go on Star Trek cruises, they do all that. that blade that she's holding is a real blade. It's not plastic.
Oh my God.
It is really sharp and it's very heavy. But yeah, she came in. We were shooting in Savannah, and we had rented out a space in Savannah, and
it was a walk-up.
It was a walk up. They were on the second floor, so it was a walk up.
Shut up.
So they come. I'm photographing somebody else, and they come walking in, and I'm saying, "Hey, how you doing?" And I'm photographing the previous person, and Kate's running back and forth, and I'm going, "What are you guys doing?" She has a lot of stuff. And 15, 20 minutes later, I said, "Kate, what are you doing?" She says, "She has a lot of stuff." And 15 minutes later, I'm saying, "Kate, what are you doing?" She says, "She really has a lot of stuff." And she really brought in a lot of things. She loves Mexican food, and so margaritas and chips and all that kind of stuff. So she brought the big sombrero. She brought enough food to feed a crew on a big shoot. I mean, she brought a lot of food. She had it was unbelievable.
Was it all for the shoot, or did you get to have any?
I think we had another shoot afterwards.
I think we had another shoot afterwards, so we didn't have time to eat it. But
I'd have been like,
it did. I don't think it went to waste. But one of the things I do tell people is over the phone. I said, please bring everything you think you might need, because I really don't want them to get to the point where, if they're packing.
I wish I had.
I should have brought that umbrella.
Yes.
I really brought the umbrella. So she really took that to heart, and I've really, since that point, I've kind of dialed back my bring whatever you want to bring kind of thing, because she brought everything, and we know. And I do tell them, just bring it. Doesn't mean we have to use it, but just as long as it's there, just in case. Because like I said, I don't want to get to that situation where, I wish we brought that. But
now, Idris. Oh, I'm sorry, Kate. What were you going to say?
I was just going to say, and that harkens back to the point that it is such a collaboration, and a lot of the stuff that happens is kind of on the fly.
It's very organic, which is, we mentioned earlier that when we have a collaboration process, we know for the most part what's going to happen, but it doesn't really come together until we're actually meeting and we lay everything out.
Of course.
Oh my God, that's fantastic. Well, we can use this, we can use that with this, we can put this on here, we can put a pickle in your mouth, and we can put ice cream on it. This is going to be great. So, and then, sometimes the look in their eyes, they get really big, like, oh my God, I don't,
Speaking of big eyes, let's talk about Idri's amazing lashes here, and lashes in an accordion. And what else do you need?
Yes. Yeah. So those big lashes are courtesy of Maya Landy.
And she's part of a band. Edri is part of a band, the Army of Toys. And what they do is she plays small instruments. So she plays small accordions. We even have a picture of her. I don't think I gave it to you. She has a picture with the little monkeys, with the little tambourines that tap back and forth. So she has cymbals. So she had 4 or 5 of them, and pictures of them. But she will hold those up, and that's part of the band is these tiny instruments.
Oh my goodness, that's fabulous.
That she plays, but she dresses like that too in the band. So,
but Maya Landy did a spectacular job.
Oh, she did.
Yes,
and especially when you can see what she really looks like without any makeup on.
Right, exactly. And then we have Ellen, who is a swimmer and she likes murder mysteries.
Yeah, she does.
I love this magnifying glass situation.
Yeah.
This I saw in another one. Yeah. With a science teacher. Yes.
Yeah.
That's fabulous. And then what is the mask?
I don't know if I think she does some acting. I can't remember exactly.
Oh, so it's like mask work for the.
She brought a couple of those along with her, and I wanted to incorporate it into the shoot some way, and we really didn't. I could do it. We have a couple shots of her just holding it up, but it was just a plain mask. But she loves French fries and ketchup. So what she's wearing there, she's wearing a French fry necklace with ketchup pouring all over.
Of course.
And I said yes, because that's what redheads do. Yeah. And so then we poured ketchup on the mask to kind of tie it all together. And so she's holding the mask up, and she has ketchup on her French fries.
I love
but wearing it as a necklace.
Oh, she has a beautiful look. I love it.
And the swimming thing is really kind of cool, because that's where we sprayed her down with water to make it look like she just got out of the water, and she's so it's spraying down the goggles, And
I love the swimming
murder
one.
mystery thing, say, hey, bring some ketchup with you or bring something, we'll have something drip down.
Oh my gosh. Now I'm on Gemma where I'm gonna just squeeze these cheeks, but she's probably not this age anymore, right?
No,
She's
she was 2 years old when we photographed that.
Oh
It was
my
a couple of years ago.
God. Emma, Gemma.
But she was her brother came in as well. And her brother was 4 years older, I believe. 4 or 5 years older.
I wouldn't say that much.
Okay.
In
Well,
a family,
anyway,
are there two redheads? Was her brother a redhead as well?
Yes, brother
Okay.
red. We
I
photographed
don't know
her.
how it works scientifically. You get all redheads?
No, not always.
All right, you don't know what's gonna happen.
Yeah.
Oh wow, well that's lucky.
And so the but I think you with if you give birth to a redhead, both you and the husband have to have the redhead gene.
Both you and the husband. But are they necessarily redheads?
No,
they don't have to be redheads.
No.
Fascinating.
That's why we had heard we were told a story. I think it was a girl in Austin said, yeah, when I was born, the doctor didn't say it's a boy or a girl. It says, oh my God, it's a redhead. So, didn't say it's a boy or a girl yet. So and yeah, they're a lot of times the parents would be really surprised. We talked to the parents, says, yeah, I don't know where the red hair came from. Because
yeah, that's what
now
they
we go back and
say.
do research. We go back and do some research, and it was, my great grandmother twice removed or something like that had red hair. So it doesn't skip one generation; it can skip multiple generations. But
I mean, that's the whole thing with Princess Diana's son, right? With Harry, right? They're like, we don't know where it came from, even though there was that boyfriend who was a redhead.
But Gemma was really cute, and she came with a lot of personality, and obviously a lot of it was. We talked to her over the phone. Obviously her mother did most of the talking, but we would talk to her over the phone and say, hey, so what do you like? Says, well, I like Superwoman or, Batwoman or whatever it was.
Batgirl.
And, she loved dressing up as a princess. So what kind of stuff can we do? And they had a giant frog, which would really work perfectly.
We brought the frog.
Just her look, hands on the hips with the superhero costume on was just perfect.
Juxtaposing the other side of her, which is more outdoorsy and
she didn't mind getting, hey, can we put dirt all over you? Oh, sure. And she didn't care at all. It was great.
And then Harper likes math. Yes. And Pippi Longstocking. Oh, these are now there's an ice cream situation on her face that probably she was not hard to convince to pour is that chocolate dusting?
Well,
no, that was
a candy
apple. She loved candied apple
with all kinds of candy on it.
Yeah,
yum.
And so they had 2 of them there, and the kids just usually when it comes to sweets, they can't wait to get a hold of it.
And now
and Finn was like that too.
Was this a virtual shoot or no? This
is the in-person one, but we did a virtual shoot. She's the girl that was on the beach with the blue with the blue dress dancing.
What's the age difference here?
Couple years.
Yeah.
Oh my God. Look at that picture. Ugh. So how does the virtual shoot work? Talk to me about that.
So well, a little bit of history, but go ahead, Kate.
So basically, Keith was playing around with this app called the Close app about a year ago. Keith, year
ago, March it came out.
And of course, due to lockdown and the pivot internet worldwide to working remotely, Keith was playing around with the Close app to see what it was about, and the light bulb went off in my head, and I thought, we ought to pivot and create a Redhead Project virtual edition because we can't photograph people in person easily. We were doing it very carefully, maybe one person at that point.
Yeah.
Since the pandemic. And that would allow us to engage our followers wherever they live. And that expands our reach worldwide, even beyond the pandemic. But more importantly, we were always grappling with how can we bring the in-person Redhead Project everywhere people want us to. It's impossible. We're just 2 people. So this allows us to have more people participate.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
it's not as, the application isn't as extensive, where they don't have to come up with 5 different concepts. Just come up with one basic concept that really works.
Right.
That really works really well. Right now, it's iPhone only, because it basically is a glorified FaceTime call. But what they figured out is a way to get into the FaceTime call through this app. It opens up like a FaceTime call, but I can use the high-res camera. I have control of your camera, basically. So I can take pictures, I can focus, I can zoom in and out just a little bit. I don't have all the capabilities that you have on your phone, but I have access to your phone. And it's like a FaceTime call. So once we log out, we're done. I'm not on your phone anymore. I don't have access to your contacts or your photos or anything.
Right.
All the images are uploaded to the cloud. I download all the images. I make contact sheets and I send them back off to the redhead or the person who we photographed. They pick the image that they want, and I process them and send them back.
so the subject basically just takes cues from Keith via this FaceTime call, and has to be able to prop the camera onto something, the phone onto something, or have someone hold it for them.
Okay.
Yeah.
And you have to have a cellular signal, but it can be theoretically anywhere in the world.
Sure.
Yeah.
As long as there's cellular signal.
Yeah.
It just, there's some unique aspects to it also, just in terms of patience. Someone can't get too frustrated with, there may be lags in, connectivity.
Sometimes the image freezes up or it gets garbled a little bit. Sometimes I really can't see what I'm photographing.
Sure.
I can see it a little bit, but so I have to take a lot of pictures. Sometimes I'm taking 300 pictures or so just to capture, 3 or 4 different settings, and you just pick the best one that you got. So
now I'm going to jump to Taylor's virtual shoot, because I remember that one too.
She was the first one. She was the first one, right? That first virtual redhead that we photographed. And so she had her friend Nick helped out and held the camera, which was great, because he was really attuned to the iPhone, holding cameras, taking pictures with it. So he knew what was going on. So I said, hey, bend down a little bit, turn left, turn right. Let's just try this. Let's try that.
He had a good,
I had a good tech there with me.
Nice.
So, to help out. And so what they would do is they would, we photographed in one of Taylor's friend's house. She sent me pictures of the house, of certain rooms beforehand. So I had an idea of where we were going to shoot. But when we were there, since it's a FaceTime call, she can do a 180-degree view, saying, here's what we have. And I said, oh, let's go over here. I love that the light works best over in this left-hand corner than compared to this corner over here.
And where is she in the world?
She was in LA.
Okay.
Yeah. So I was taking photographs of her on a rainy day in LA or a rainy day in New York, and she was sitting outside in LA. So
and you had shot her previously for the Redhead Project as this dancer, and she's an actress. Yes.
Yes, she is. Yeah.
She's got a lot of is that a tap shoe in with the dance?
Yeah, she used to. That's
cute.
How she started. She was a dancer when she first started. Yeah, a lot of kids, starting out dancing and ballet and things like that. So
and then I wanted to talk about this amazing Jennar, this one where she wrapped herself up in the cords. I love that one.
Another Savannah shoot.
So she's a musician, and she's also a realtor.
She's one of those people that they don't sleep. One of those, she's, she'll text you or message you at 2:00 in the morning because she just got home from working or is up working or something like that.
Job number 3. Yeah,
exactly. So she has a hand in a lot of different things. And like Kate said, she's a musician. She does music therapy, I believe.
Yes.
She's
currently a realtor.
She's currently a realtor. I don't think she was a realtor when we photographed her there. Right. I think she did more. She was overseeing construction sites. So that's
the drill.
Construction and the drill.
And then she did a Carol Burnett situation with this.
Yes, that's another example of our spontaneous collaboration. So when we talked to her on the phone, she's of course in Savannah, and so we were brainstorming, and somehow curtains came up because I think she does she has her hand in decor. In some cases,
she
renovating places.
Yeah.
And the light bulb went off, and I immediately thought of the Carol Burnett scene in the skit from ages ago.
Went with the wind.
Went with the wind,
yeah.
where Farrah says, I saw it in the window and I couldn't resist, and it was supposedly a dress, but it was really a curtain rod with the curtain.
So we asked her, says, could you do something like that? She goes, yeah, I can do that. I'm sure I can do that. And so she had a hair and makeup person with her to help her out. And so she did the hair just like the Carol Burnett character. And she had a curtain rod, and it was a real curtain rod that she used. And it was a real curtain that she kind of morphed into a dress. That was a lot of fun. There was a lot of the giggling and laughing going on during that shoot, just because we couldn't believe that she pulled it off.
Oh my God.
And that it looked that good.
And then how messy did this shoot get? This one with Caitlin.
Caitlin. Yeah. The one with the, she went to school in Florida. I think it was University of Florida, I believe. And those are the school colors. She knew how quirky we get. And this is one of those things where I didn't even have to suggest anything. She goes, I want paint thrown all over me.
Okay.
I want the school colors. And so, so we did it in Kate's parents' garage, obviously when we're going to do it inside in Savannah. So we put plastic down everywhere, and we had Kate's niece and nephew. One was on one side, one was the other side, just throwing paint on her. And they were very, Caitlin, just wanted more paint, and the Patrick and Abby were very, very shy about throwing paint on her. And I said, no, just take it and just, aim right at her face. That's what she wants. So, we have some great pictures of paint just kind of morphing around her, which is really kind of cool. But it is one of, when the paint's on her, the first shot we have is when she's kind of just standing, just, very with a straight look on her face. A lot of times when they're taking pictures like that, I want them, and they're really messy, whether it be paint, whether it be food, or something else, dirt. I want them to kind of look at the camera like, what's your problem? This is how we're supposed to be doing this.
I get that.
This is how redheads roll, basically.
I get that.
And so they get that tough kind of look, like, what's your problem? What are you staring at, kind of thing.
And then and then she's really tough in these below pictures as well. It's like almost Viking-esque. Is it?
That's the second shoot.
That was the second shoot. So she's a real estate agent, and that really wasn't pulled out in the first set of shots, just because we concentrated a lot on the paint, because that was the major part of
Got it.
More of a cowgirl look.
But she had the cowgirl look because she has a horse and she loves doing cowgirl kind of stuff. I'm not going to say whatever that is, but whatever that is. But she takes care of her horse, and she's a monster truck driver. So her father. So her father is owns a bunch of monster trucks and goes to these conventions. And
who's her father?
And so I can't remember what his name is, but they go to Orlando, they do all these big things, and they do.
Our family's obsessed with Monster Jam.
Really? So she's a monster truck driver.
So in those second shots with the cowgirl and the monster truck helmet, she had a hair and makeup artist help collaborate.
Right.
Yeah. And we also did some, the theme there was more, who she is, but she also wanted to do some Hollywoody kind of feels kind of shoot. So we did that as well, where we all shot against white, but we got a big chair, and she got really fancy dresses, and she was holding
there's this fancy virtual shoot of her as Little Red Riding Hood, which is really cool.
Yeah. And that was her idea. She came to us and said,
amazing.
She has a big event going on Friday, and she's going to be wearing a dress, and she has a hair and makeup person coming in. I want to do a concept of Little Red Riding Hood. So I said, that'd be great. Let's set it up. So the shoot lasted 10 minutes or so. So her husband held the phone, and she just walked up and down that little path a couple times, and we just took pictures. And she had, if you look very closely in the center of the frame, just off center to the right, there's a dog.
I see it
on some wood, and the hair and makeup person actually put a lot of hairspray in the dog's name, I guess, to make it look like it was a bear, not a bear, but
a wolf. A baby wolf.
And the dog was brilliant because the dog just sat there the whole time, didn't move. Told to stay there and just stay there. And Caitlin just walked back and forth. And it worked out perfectly.
Oh my God, it's wonderful. Now we are looking at Kylie, who, when she says to you, how old is Kylie?
She was 11 or 12.
Yeah.
And when she says to you, I like it, thoughts?
She might have been in something. I don't remember whether she.
Oh, she's an actress.
Yeah.
Okay, so that makes sense. Yes.
I'm not sure if it's just she loves those kinds of movies or whether she's
in them.
Yeah, but to your question is it's because all of this is over the phone, and you said she really loves it, and I said, oh, that'd be great. She says, yeah, I can do makeup and I can do that, but they don't send us pictures about what the makeup's going to look like, so we just have to take their word for it that they're going to come up with something that's going to be halfway decent.
So she did this herself?
Her and her mom did that.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. And so, I took a look at pictures and I said, don't forget the red balloon. You got to do that kind of stuff. And the other picture there where she's eating some candy, that's where we wanted them to get creative, where they made some candy chains or something like that.
So her mother sewed candies onto the dress that she's wearing.
I see. Oh, cute.
Very, very subtle.
Yeah.
But in a small picture. But
very cute. Yeah, this It picture is just, I can't believe how good of a job it is.
Yeah. They did a really good job, and she played it really well. She knows the movie well because she had that look, and even the look in her eyes.
I know she's tough.
Yeah,
she's tough. Now, this ranch dressing story is one for the books. I remember this one well.
That's one of my favorite stories.
Yeah.
I think it's just because it was more. It wasn't necessarily that she poured something on her head. It was more of the process of actually getting her to do it.
Okay.
When we talked over the phone, we photographed that in Chicago. So when we talked over the phone, and obviously their parents are on the call too. She loves ranch dressing. And I said, that's great. Why don't you bring the biggest thing of ranch dressing that you can find? Just like a huge thing of ranch dressing. And I don't think we talked about, we'll pour it on your head, we'll do anything like that. I just kind of let that go.
Yeah.
And didn't really say anything. Just, we'll just have some fun with it. We'll just do stuff. So her and her sister were both redheads. So they were both in the shoot separately. We had a hotel suite. We get into the suite and they come in and they're unpacking, and they have a big like a Costco size thing of ranch dressing. And I looked at it and said, oh, that's fantastic, Lila Rose, you brought the ranch dressing. And she looks at me and she goes, yeah, but I'm not pouring it on my head.
Don't get any ideas.
And I said, no big deal. We don't have to do that. No big deal. And she goes, okay. And so we photographed her sister first, and then we came back and we photographed Lila Rose, and we did a bunch of really, really cute pictures, which you see. And she's really a cute kid, and she dressed up really well in the big glasses and very fashionable, which is really kind of cute. So it's time to do something with the ranch dressing. So what they decided to do, they brought a straw. So they're going to put a big straw into the ranch dressing, and she was going to pretend like she was going to drink it.
Pretend.
But Lila Rose even said, I'm not going to drink that, Mom. He says, oh no, just pretend. You don't need to do it. Just pretend. So she pretended like she was drinking it. And then it got to the point, okay, now, do you want to do this? Do you want to pour this over your head? And she goes, no, I don't want to do this. No, I don't want to do this. And she was getting like a little girl, and she was
freaking out. Yeah.
And she sat down on a chair and she pulled her knees up. I remember this like it was yesterday. She pulled her knees up to her chest, and she was sitting there saying, I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to do this. I don't want to do this. And something I never thought I'd ever see. Her father knelt down in front of her and said, now, honey, we talked about this on the trip over here. We're going to have to get weird. We're going to have to get quirky. And this is what you talked about doing this. You talked about you really wanted to do this, right? And she goes, yeah, I know. I talked about it. Says, well, this is like a once in a lifetime opportunity, isn't it? And she goes, yeah. And says, well, this is something that, you really wanted to do. And, when am I ever going to be able to tell you, if you're ever going to hear from me ever again, that I can tell you that it's okay for you to pour ranch dressing over your head? And she goes, probably never. And she goes, so do you think you want to do this? She goes, okay.
Oh, that easy.
But then she looks at me and she goes, but I'm pouring it on my head.
Yes.
No one else is pouring it. I'm going to do it. I'm going to pour it on my head. So she gets up there and I said, okay, hold the can like this and hold it up so we can see the ranch dressing, and hold it up like this and just squeeze. And she's squeezing and it's pouring down her head. And it was just brilliant. And she was just, the way it looked, you couldn't Photoshop it any better. You know, the way it kind of poured down the side of her face, it looked like almost a mask.
Yeah.
And almost like paint coming down. It was just.
And how did she feel after that?
It was funny because she squeezed it and it was coming down, and then it was there like this, and then she stopped and she looked at everybody and she goes, I have ranch in my pants. Oh. And then we just lost it. Everybody just started laughing. And then I wanted her, we got some pictures of her doing that, you know, this is how redheads roll kind of thing. And all I want you to do is just smush it in your hair like a shampoo, and just get it all in your hair like it's shampoo. And then kind of look at me like this is how, you know, what's your problem? What are you staring at? This is what we do. You know, this is how redheads do this.
Yeah.
And, you know, get that really tough person look. And so we did all that. And then we're there cleaning up, and I'm down there, you know, next to her cleaning up, and we're, you know, cleaning some stuff up. And she glances up at me and she takes her head and she smushes her head all in my shirt, all in my shirt. And I said, I deserve that.
Yes, absolutely. So, you did. Yes.
So she went to the bathroom, jumped in the shower. And her father comes back, and her father says, she jumps in the shower. She goes, Dad, I'm really glad I did that.
She did. Oh, good.
So, which goes back to what I said before. You know, it really makes me feel good that the redheads don't regret what they don't look at the pictures and go, well, you know, this is going to come back and bite me one day. You know, I'm going to be famous, and they're going to have pictures of me pouring ranch dressing all over my head. Of
course.
But they just seem to enjoy it, and you know, they don't. You know, there are times where I think the redheads they look at their mom and go, I don't know if I really want to put peanut butter on my face. But then when they do it, they just love it. They just think it's fun. Once it's done.
Maddie looks like she has absolutely no regrets. She looks pretty comfortable with the peanut butter situation on her. Madeline.
Yes. Well, that's the girl. That's the girl was just actually, it was a good segue, because this girl was just talking about where she was an athlete. And so I asked her, what's her go-to food? And before she before she runs, or before she plays soccer, before she does whatever, what does she do? She loves peanut butter.
So she's a ballet. She's in ballet and a competitive runner.
And so I said, well, why don't you put some peanut butter on the piece of bread? And she was very, very lightly putting peanut butter on the bread. And I said, no, honey, no, that's not how you put peanut butter on there. I'm giving it a good half inch or 3/4, you know, a 1/4 inch of peanut butter on this. And she's looking at it. And I said, you know, just bite into it, just like you're biting into it. And I'm taking pictures of her biting into it. And I said, okay, so now I want you to, you know, hold it out there, just look at me. And she's looking at me, taking some pictures that way. And I said, okay, now just push it into your face. And her eyes get really wide, and her mom is standing just behind me, and she's looking at her mom, and she looks at me, she looks at her mom, she looks at me, looks at her mom, and her mom goes, come on, just do it. And so she goes, okay. She just does this. And I said, okay, now take your hand away, takes her hand away. So the bread's still there. So I take some pictures of her with just the bread there. Okay. So take the bread off. And then obviously there's peanut butter all over her face. And then that picture there where I think she's biting the corner of the bread, and I said, just look at me and give me a tough look, like, yeah, this is how we do this. So
very
cute. So sometimes they don't really want to do it, but you just kind of very lightly encourage them to do it. And the parents play a big part in it.
Of course.
Marlo, which I think you have there with the ice cream.
Yeah.
She didn't want to do anything with the ice cream.
Oh, stop. She looks so excited about it.
Oh, she looks very excited. And her father was behind me saying, come on, Marlo, you love ice cream. You love doing this. Just put something. I said, come on, smush it up against your face. Very, very lightly, just kind of patting it on her face like she was putting makeup on. And I said, no. You know, and I don't grab their hand and push anything in their face. They have to do it themselves.
She is just so stinking cute.
So cute. Yeah, she was so cute.
So cute. There's a lot of spaghetti here on Savannah as well. And the Barbie dolls. I mean, this was amazing. This is really great.
Yeah, she collects Barbie dolls. And
yes.
So she has a huge collection in the past. Yes. And so
I collect them now, you guys. So
And so we had to do something different with dolls, you know, especially someone at that age, you know, it's not, you know, she liked them, but it wasn't something that, you know, she wasn't 3 years old or 6 years old anymore. She was just graduating, just ready. So, you know, how can we do something different? And
another nostalgia.
Yeah. When we're over the phone, we were talking about how can we tape them, you know, to you? She goes, oh, why don't we? How? Yeah. Then we can incorporate everything instead of her just holding them all or throwing them in the air. They're taped to you. So they brought in a bunch of masking tape, and I said, okay, let's tape around your mouth too, just to kind of make it look like you're part of the Barbie doll by being taped as well. And
yeah,
it worked out pretty well. And that with the spaghetti, I can't remember what food it was, but it's a pasta baked in a crust. So it's almost like a pie with pasta in it. Casserole. Yeah, casserole kind of thing. And so she's digging into it, and she really loves it, and you know, she's just eating it. And you know, show me how much you love it. And you know, I want to see expressions on your face. You know, how much do you love it? Just taking a bunch of pictures that way.
Love that. This tennis person has peanut butter as well. This is Perry. And Perry is a tennis star, and is it peanut butter that makes her so good at what she does?
So yes. She's a competitive. She's a collegiate. Until recently she played for Brown University. She just graduated. She's now a journalist, a sports reporter.
Journalist.
Wow.
In Virginia.
And so peanut butter was her go-to training.
I'm happy to know that I can look like this and play tennis if I eat as much peanut butter as I want, because I love it.
Yeah, exactly.
And then one of the things. A virtual shoot with her too, right?
Yes, we did. Yeah, we did a virtual shoot with her as well. And that her lasted quite a while. But we incorporated tennis in that as well, and her mom's wedding dress too.
Is that her mom's wedding dress?
Yeah,
that's wonderful.
So Perry came up with the concept to sort of as a homage to moving on to new things,
old and new, and you know, that kind of stuff.
I love that.
But she'd been married to tennis through her whole, you know, college career.
Married to tennis.
And now she's moving on to be a sports journalist.
Oh wow!
And not playing as competitively.
Oh wow, that's so cool.
Yeah.
So,
and then. Is Shannon a makeup artist? Is that what's happening here, or does she just love makeup?
No,
she's an actress and model.
Yeah, I think more of a model. That was out of
love that.
But she was only 15 at the time or something.
Oh yeah.
But she was really into makeup, so we had to figure out a way how. And she loved singing, so that's when we incorporated, you know, all that. She loves sushi too, which is really that was an interesting to get her to do something different with sushi. Being a model was kind of challenging, you know, because, you know, balance a bunch of sushi on her head. She wasn't really into that, and I didn't push it. But you know, put sushi in your mouth and, you know, have it as a big circle here. We did something like that. But she loved playing around with the makeup more than anything else. But we're trying to. She put all the little marks on her hands,
swatches,
her arms and stuff. And so the palettes, and it was kind of fun actually watching her kind of putting it all together.
Of course. 15,
20 minutes kind of just painting herself and seeing how she was going to incorporate it. So
of course. I like that a lot. When we talked about Taylor, oh my gosh, this is it. We missed Logan. How could we miss Logan?
Yeah.
Sorry.
The
soul man of the it's funny that I would say we do get this get this comment quite often that you photograph a lot of girls and a lot of women, and it just seems like, you know, we don't go out,
a lot of men.
We don't go out and advertise, and we don't
from more women.
Yeah, we hear from more women than we do men, and we don't. You know, we'll photograph anybody just as long as you're a natural redhead. It doesn't make any difference.
Right.
Who you are, what size you are, you know, or what ethnicity you are.
Right.
We want everybody and anybody to be part of this project.
But we don't.
The only thing is,
we don't solicit.
Yeah, you have to come to us because we want to know that you really want to do this. And it's not, you know, oh my gosh, you're an African American redhead. Wouldn't we'd love to have that, and you know, you have to be part of this and pull them in, because it's not going to be that fun.
And you want to have to be able to put the work and the thought into it because it's become so popular it's become so popular that we can't photograph everyone we hear from.
Right. Exactly. That's why the application. And then Lindsay, I forgot to mention, who is did she do the Psycho Girl Scout cookie? Did she do that makeup herself? That's so fun.
Yes. So she is, that's an interesting story because we had met her in, we were in Savannah. Yeah.
We had a last minute opening. It was January 2020, right before the pandemic hit.
Okay.
And early, like right in the new year, we had a cancellation for early morning, January 1st or 2nd. And so we put out a casting call a couple days prior to announce that we have room for one redhead in Savannah at 8:30 in the morning. And Lindsay, who lives in Winston-Salem,
5 hours away,
replied that she was interested, and she submitted an entire application right away and was willing to drive 5.5 hours each way with a car full of stuff, including all of her gingerbread making. She's a competitive gingerbread maker. So she brought all her stuff, and she happens to also love Halloween, and she has these fabulous Halloween parties with her husband every other year. They're so elaborate they can't do it every year because it's too time consuming.
I want to go.
Yeah.
To Savannah just for overnight, and it was so conceptualized. It was the most unbelievable production that she brought on the road for us.
Fantastic.
So well, but so the Ghoul Scout costume is what she wore for one Halloween party.
Ghoul Scout.
That's what that is.
And so that's why this shoot, with all the different looks that they have that they incorporate into the shoots, that's why these shoots can last 3 hours.
Yeah.
Incorporating that, so that's all in one shoot. That what you see there is all in a 3 hour time frame. Where one of those shoots could take an hour and a half to do.
Do you ever want to die? Do you ever want to be like, we're done?
Oh yeah. Well, yeah.
It's inspiring.
If there are times, I have to be honest with you, there are times where if I see another freaking redhead, I just, I don't want to see one. I'm done.
And then it goes away very quickly.
And it goes away. Yes. And then you come back.
It's a unique situation when we take the project on the road. We do pack the schedule together because we want to photograph as many redheads on location as we can.
Yeah. Of course.
It's an exhaustive process because of the denseness of condensing.
And of course, it's all worth it. I mean, like once you get through a big marathon like that, you're like, oh my gosh, how could I ever stop doing this?
Yeah.
I mean, you probably, do you have any plans of like you guys have been featured on CNN and, I mean, this is, is there going to be a big show?
We would love for that to happen. We haven't
thought of how it would look.
We've kind of put any big aspirations like that on hold, but the beauty of the virtual project is that, since you brought up CNN, that happened. CNN.com featured us in December 2019, right before the pandemic hit. And so we got lots of interest from all over the place. And so the virtual project, another beauty of it is that we can now
keep going,
incorporate a lot of the people that were so interested right before everything.
Right.
Yeah.
How did CNN find you?
Through
a
friend of ours, social media friend of ours, Sri Nivasan.
Amazing.
He's a big social media journalist guru. He used to work for Columbia University. He used to work for the Met. He was their digital officer in the Met, and now he runs Digimentors. He has his own consulting firm. I guess you call it a consulting firm. So we had sent him. We made a pack of Redhead playing cards.
I love mine.
So we use that as a promotional piece. So I would send it out to people. So we sent him a copy saying thank you. Here's some. You can see some of the cards that we have here, and it's really kind of cool actually. So, but they're real.
They're very cool.
They're real playing cards, and we sent him a pack of playing cards to say thank you. I think he had a party his yearly parties. We want to send something to say thank you for having us.
Right before Thanksgiving of 19.
And so
it happened really fast.
Yeah. So he passed it along to someone he knew at CNN and said, "Oh my God!" The person at CNN said, "What? This is great. Let me pass this along to the photo folks." And the photo folks contacted us, and within 2 days, we were in contact with CNN, figuring out how we can do this story with them. So it was really it was very, very, very nice of Sheree to do that.
Yes.
But it was really quite amazing how when something is meant to happen, how quickly it can happen. It's really amazing.
Yeah.
And the nice thing about it, the experience, the opportunity was that CNN basically reaffirmed what we had the instinct all along, which was that the backstory behind the image, it's not just the image itself, but the backstory draws the viewer into the image, and also it helps them to relate to what they're seeing.
Yeah.
So they specifically sought out images where we had a known backstory. We had a deadline, a very quick deadline, so we had to go with images that we knew the backstory for, and that it was nice to reaffirm my instinct that we should be asking that of everybody.
Yeah.
Because it's interesting, and it also it casts a wider net of interest to the work beyond the obvious red hair and photography.
Mm-hmm.
We can expand the network to, because we have people now that, play competitive tennis and, monster truck drivers.
Mm-hmm.
We can the net of interest is infinite. If people bring props that are unusual.
Yes.
That's fantastic.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
I mean, really, the sky's the limit to what you can bring and do and showcase.
Well, I love everything you do, but this especially because you are just celebrating individuality and, keeping everything creative. And I love seeing how far it's come, and I don't see any signs of it stopping.
It started as it's obviously a labor of skill, and primarily it was conceived as a marketing tool for Keith's work, but it's become a labor of love.
Yeah.
Yes.
And the community that I wouldn't say created, but that we have now.
Yes.
And friends from all over the country and all over the world that, I know I can go to Savannah and I can go there and I can go ride a horse if I wanted to.
Yes.
And little things all over the country is really kind of cool.
Oh, it's fantastic. I can't wait to see what's to come from it. And I will be, how can people find, I guess, is your Instagram the best way to reach you?
We have Instagram, which is redhead.project.
Is there a web page?
Yes. And there's a web page. You go to my website, keithbarraclough.com. There is a Redhead section there, which you can see a lot of images. There's also an about the Redhead Project, where you can find out how to take part in the project if you're a redhead, or if you know a redhead. You have to be a naturally born redhead, but that doesn't mean that your hair still needs to be red. So if you're older and your hair is silver now, or if you're a natural redhead, but you dye your hair because it's gone to white and you want the red, we can still have you be part of the project.
Amazing. And then the Instagram, of course, and that is
we're on Facebook.
All of that I will put all of that in the show notes.
Cool.
Great.
And I'm sure you will be seeing a lot more redheads coming your way after these stories come out. And thank you so much for sharing with me today, guys.
Thanks for having us.
Oh my gosh, my absolute pleasure.
So it was great.
It was a delight.
Yes.
Thanks so much for listening to this episode and everything that you need if you are a redhead, and I know you're going to be psyched to participate in a project like this after hearing all of those amazing experiences and stories and seeing those fabulous images. And you can find everything you need to apply at the show notes. So check it out, and I want to hear about it if you guys connect, and I want to see the pictures. So next week is an epic episode. It is, I know I always say that, but it really is. Okay. It's V. Neal. Yeah. And she's talking about all the Tim Burton stuff. Woo! That was my husband. Yeah, we're excited. Can't wait to see you. Bye. Look Behind the Look is a Vinyl Foot production, written by me, your host, Tiffany Bartok, produced by Jace Bartok, edited by Nicole Tucker. If you're interested in learning more, find our video version on the YouTube channel, Look Behind the Look Podcast. There you can see rare photos and clips from our guests. And please follow us on Twitter at LookBehindPod and Instagram at LookBehindTheLook. If you like the show, please rate, review, and subscribe. And tell your friends and spread the word. You can subscribe to us on iTunes or any podcatcher of your choice. Thanks for listening to Look Behind the Look.